Death or cryopreservation? Which one will you pick? Cold has an impact on the biological system. Some animals have the amazing ability to survive even in the harshest of circumstances. Bears, for example, hibernate. And this state of minimal activity is characterized by low body temperature, slow breathing and heart rate, and low metabolic rate. So let me tell you a story. Her name is Anna Bagenholm. She was skiing down a waterfall gully in North Norway when she fell headfirst into a river. She fell into icy water and her body temperature dropped to just 13.7 degrees Celsius. Normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Her head and body became wedged under the thick ice and her friends could not free her. By the time the rescue team arrived, she had been under the ice for 80 minutes and was frozen solid. Her heart wasn't beating. She was not breathing. She was clinically dead. They pumped her blood out of her body to warm her up before circulating it through her yet again. At around 4 p.m. on the next day, almost a day after Bagenholm had fallen into the river, her heart had restarted and began pumping the blood on its own yet again. Gradually, the rest of her body began to heal too. So this is where cryogenical preservation ideas come from. The term cryonics, which refers to the preservation of a human body at low temperature in the anticipation that it may one day be brought back to full health and life, is likewise derived from the Greek word for cold. After that, the bodies are chilled to -200 degrees Celsius and put into a container with liquid nitrogen. Dr. James Bedford's freezing in January 1967 marked the first cryonic suspension. It was a significant accomplishment. Here, I'd want to briefly discuss the events that led up to this turning point and how they were seen in the emerging cryonics movement. When he passed away, 3 men were in charge of keeping his circulation going: cryobiologist Robert Prihoda, biophysicist Dante Brunel, and Robert Nelson, president of the Cryonic Society of California. His circulation was kept going through artificial respiration and heart massage while being cooled on ice until it could be taken into their care. Despite the fact that Bedford cannot be brought back to life, he stands as a symbol of these grand objectives and is neither technically alive nor dead. A 2-year-old girl has become the world's youngest person to be cryogenically frozen and preserved for future revival. Matherin had a rare form of brain cancer. Her parents decided to preserve her brain shortly after death in the hope that she may one day be brought back to life. Her blood was replaced with an organ preservation solution to prepare her for transport to Alcor's main facility in Arizona. At the facility, she was cooled under computer control by fans circulating nitrogen gas over 3 hours and to a further -196 degrees Celsius over approximately 2 weeks. She is now stored under liquid nitrogen at a temperature of -196 degrees Celsius. There are today 3 commercial cryonics facilities currently in operation across the world and maintain both bodies and brains into cryopreservation. 1. Alcor. The Alcor Life Extension Foundation, more often known as Alcor, is a federally tax-exempt American nonprofit organization with headquarters in Scottsdale, Arizona. Alcor promotes, studies, and engages in cryonics, the freezing of human bodies and brains in liquid nitrogen after they have passed away legally, in hopes that a new technology would one day enable their resurrection and recovery to full health. The mainstream scientific community views cryonics with mistrust and has labeled it as quackery and pseudoscience. Alcor had 1,832 members in the beginning of 2022, including 182 who had passed away and whose bodies had undergone cryonic procedures. 116 of these bodies had only their heads saved. Yes, you can choose to cryo your body or only the head. Why? Is it a matter of price? You missed the launch pricing, which was close to $30,000 around 50 years ago. Now for the whole body it will cost you around $250,000, but only for the head $80,000. And don't forget your pet in the process. Pets' bodies are likewise subject to Alcor's cryonic preservation technique. 2. The Cryonics Institute in Clinton Township, Michigan. The Cryonics Institute in Clinton Township offers suspension at cryogenic temperatures. In Clinton Township, Michigan, they have a cryonics facility and offer members long-term storage and security. They pretend to be experts in full-body cryopreservation of people and animals, DNA and tissue storage. They are currently educating the general public about cutting-edge research they're working on. Only members are given a chance to be kept at cryogenic temperatures in hopes that later medical science would be able to resuscitate and heal them. 3. Kriorus, near Moscow. The country's first cryonics business. The Russian Transhumanist Movement (NGO) formed it in 2005. The business promises to freeze clients' complete bodies or only their heads in liquid nitrogen with the intention of reviving them if such a technology is created. But don't forget to sign the disclaimer. Kriorus assumes no legal responsibility if such technology is not created in the future. How it works. First, you must register with the Cryonics facility and pay yearly membership cost, about $400. Once your heart stops beating and you are declared legally dead, the facility's emergency response team goes into action in order to maintain some level of function until you can be taken to the suspension facility. The team stabilizes your body and gives your brain the necessary amount of blood and oxygen. Your body is wrapped in ice, and you receive an injection of the anticoagulant heparin to stop your blood from clotting throughout the journey. At the Cryonics facility, a medical team is ready to conceive your body when it arrives. The true freezing starts when you arrive at the Cryonics Center. Patients in Cryonics facilities simply cannot be submerged in liquid nitrogen vats because the water in their cells would freeze. The cells would simply fracture because water expands when it freezes. Your cell's water must first be removed by the cryonics team, and it must be placed within a glycerol-based chemical solution called cryoprotectant. The intention is to safeguard the tissues and organs from developing ice crystals at very low temperatures. The cells are placed in a suspended animation condition during this procedure called vitrification, which involves deep chilling without freezing. Your body is cooled on a bed of dry ice until it reaches -130 degrees Celsius or -202 degrees Fahrenheit, completing the vitrification process after the water in your body has been replaced with the cryoprotectant. The second phase involves placing your body inside a special container that is then placed inside a sizable metal tank, which is filled with liquid nitrogen at approximately -196 degrees Celsius. In Fahrenheit, that's -320 degrees. Your body is kept head down, so in the event of a tank leak, your brain would remain submerged in the icy water. Currently, there are about 300 cryogenically frozen people in the United States, 50 in Russia, and a few thousand potential applicants have just joined up, and they never forget the pets. At Alcor's chambers, there are around 30 animals. So this interest in mortality raises a number of ethical issues. Who decides how many and what sorts of resources should be given to a dead body? The healthcare system is seeing the commercial cryonics companies as scammers with one purpose: to make money. Cryogenical preservation is reinforced by the transhumanist movement. Transhumanism is the belief that, with aid of technology, humans should evolve independently of their existing physical constraints and natural state. The concept of using technology to improve our bodies is not new. We once produced things like wooden legs, hearing aids, eyeglasses, and fake teeth. In the future, we may be able to directly detect infrared or ultraviolet radiation, thanks to implants. Or we may be able to improve our cognitive abilities by connecting to memory chips. Science will eventually create beings with nearly godlike brilliance, power, and longevity through the fusion of man and machine. They contend that the current technology ultimately gives people the ability to live for eons, free from limitations imposed by their physical bodies. Just as carbon fiber blades could replace the flesh, blood, and bone of natural limbs, failing organs would be replaced by more durable high-tech alternatives. By replacing our feeble version 1.0 human bodies with a much more robust and capable 2.0 counterpart, we would put a stop to humanity's dependence on them. The future of medicine is unsure. Nevertheless, a specific deep sleep state might suffice for time travel. So imagine, you choose cryopreservation over death. It is the year 2100 and you just woke up from a very long nap. What is the first thing that you would want to do? That's it for today. We hope you found our video interesting. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with others. Also, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.